Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday matches at the Corsace Open here with more of the knockout round one. We're into the quarterfinals of the single elimination bracket, and we're starting off with No Title versus WROETOSHAW. No Title, seed number 2 overall in the qualifiers. WROETOSHAW, seed number 7 in the qualifiers. Again, a matchup that you would usually see in the quarterfinals, but usually on a bit of an easier pool than we have this time around in knockout round one. I'm Dio. I'm going to be joined by Sad Shiba for this matchup. Good morning, Shiba.
Good morning. Hello. I'm super excited for this matchup. I mean, both of these teams have some incredible names and incredible players. And yeah, I'm looking to see what they do. No Title, both of these teams actually having a very dominant first win against their previous opponents. And now the first matchup this today, where we're going to see both teams who qualified through the top 8 going up against each other. So this is going to be the first big top 8 matchup of this tournament, I believe. So I can't wait.
Yeah, the first only top 8 matchup of the tournament. Everyone below seed 8 in qualifiers is already out of the tournament, in fact, as not a single upset occurred in the round of 16, the first round of knockout one yesterday that we saw. So we are still in winner's bracket, especially because this is a single elimination bracket. So a reminder, every match is an elimination match this weekend. Any team that loses is gone from the tournament, and by the end of the day, we'll have only 4 teams left in the Corsace Open for next weekend, where we will crown the victors. No Title with their manager Adapir not playing for the team. His team is comprised of MX 10001, also known as Karcher, MX 10002, also known as Zayson. I forget MX 10003. It's not Zhang Weiyong. Parisia, thank you. All right. Yeah, there's too many of them. Parisia, Allegrissimo, worst HR player, and Flying Tuna. WROETOSHAW with Rudge as manager captain. Joined by Badu, Bartek, Eternum, Plasma, and Crescento. We are going to get into the first set here. No Title banning Pool B, WROETOSHAW banning Pool A. And so they're going to be playing Pool C for the first set. This is, in fact, the first pool that they both played, or the only pool they have both played already. But not a lot of overlap to go off of. Only 2 maps in common when they both played Pool C, and they both win 1, lose 1. So I'm hoping for a pretty competitive match as we start out with the Hidden 2 Protect for No Title. Kind of expecting WROETOSHAW to use a similar strategy here that they had against Starbound in their first match. Protect some raw aim consistency and pick into it, or maybe let Badu, Eternum, Bartek do their thing on a kind of aim control maps in the Nomad pool.
Yeah, and looking at this first Protect for No Title, this Hidden 2, brilliant Protect. They've definitely done their research on the previous matchup from WROETOSHAW because this was a ban in their previous match. So they are very aware that WROETOSHAW, despite having a very formidable reading trio and having a decent set of filler players as well, this map in particular is really, really brutal, and it isn't specifically the AR rate, the low AR reading that's important here. It's more the mapping style and the aim control required in here, and No Title being very smart with that ban, protection. And for sure, Nomad 3, again, not really too big of a surprise with this one.
Yeah, you look at the scores from No Title's match on this pool, and I think the best score on the whole map was like 280k. This map's really hard. This is like your Nomad 6 style finger control, aim control with lots of 280 BPM bursts, some 1.6 that are a little lower BPM, some 1.4 that's a little lower BPM. So a lot of really, really tricky patterns in that map. The Nomad 1 banned out by No Title. Again, no surprises there. WROETOSHAW with a very, very good aim consistency roster. It's a pick strategy they used to pretty good effect against Starbound yesterday. No Title probably going to have, if I had to guess, something like a Nomad 2 banned against them. They have a lot of very good stream players. That was the ban for Swag Lords in the previous matchup. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure exactly the ban for WROETOSHAW. I don't think they banned Nomad 4 because those scores were really close together. Like within 200k or so of each other, team score, if I'm remembering correctly from when I looked at the scores yesterday. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I think those were really close team scores between these two teams on the Nomad 4 in this pool. It was a
Oh, it would
protect
be
from
Nomad 2.
Starbound, and they lost in very convincing fashion, more than double score from WROETOSHAW when they were playing Starbound on the Nomad 4. So I don't feel like they're going to be scared too much of low pro trait reading, even with the hidden 2 protect. And there is the Nomad 2 ban from WROETOSHAW. So leaving up the Nomad 4. And in fact, actually, yeah, WROETOSHAW had a higher team score than No Title on that Nomad 4 yesterday. So definitely not scared of it.
Yeah.
And as for the first pick, probably going with the Hard Rock 1. It's a very basic aim consistency focused Hard Rock 1 in this pool. So I'm not really expecting anything aside from this Hard Rock 1 as a first pick. Maybe we see something like a DT2 if they're feeling a little spicy and want to go into the speed. But with the Nomad 2 ban, yeah, it's only 185 BPM and it's more flow aim focused, but it is still a stream map, still a tapping map to some extent. So maybe not looking to pick into that just yet. Go with what No Title already knows you want to pick into, and don't give away anything else for the rest of the pick strategy. Just go with the Hard Rock 1. If they don't go with that, not really sure exactly where else they're going to go. They are going to go with the DT2. Okay, so going with a little bit of the tapping, a little bit of speed. They do have a very good speed mechanics roster for WROETOSHAW. You have players like Bartek, Rudge, Plasma, Eternum, Crescento on this team. Pretty much anybody besides Badu, I think, can play this map. So they have a very, very solid roster for this. And there are good tapping players on No Title, but not necessarily known as speed players for a lot of this roster. I think you're probably going to see Karcher, Parisia, Zayson, and Allegrissimo in for this. I don't feel like Flying Tuna, worst HR player, will play this for them. And I kind of have to favor the roster from WROETOSHAW on the speed picks in this pool.
Yeah, I think Flying Tuna, most people would consider Flying Tuna to be very capable on this, but I think despite Flying Tuna having incredible mechanics, specifically in DT and aim, the speed, stamina heavy stuff, this map is quite reminiscent of System Sung. So it's very rewarding for players who have really strong stamina, and Flying Tuna is, despite being great in mechanics, not one of the stamina players that you'd expect. I think Allegrissimo is probably going to be that 4th player for No Title. And we've already talked about WROETOSHAW's capability on this. They've got plenty of players to fill in. Eternum and Crescento in particular, I'm expecting to be on this. You also have Bartek. So yeah, I think this team has plenty of potential to do well on this double time too. The Nomad 3 is also quite reminiscent of how good they're going to be on these speed mechanics. No Title may have Zyson, and they may have Allegrissimo and Parisia, but I think this WROETOSHAW team overall on paper has a much stronger roster for this. And we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be, I think, pretty contested, though. You do still have players like Karcher, Parisia, Zayson on the side of No Title, and all of them are going to be still pretty good on a map like this. So, not expecting this to be a wash by any means, but definitely expecting WROETOSHAW to perform on it and hopefully convert on the first pick. Just waiting on teams to get in the lobby at this point, speculating on exactly who's going to be in. If you're No Title, I'm interested to see what their first pick is as a response to this, because again, the Nomad 4 yesterday, WROETOSHAW actually had better scores as a team. The Hidden 2 is protected, but it's not a guaranteed first pick either. A lot of teams opting to save the protect for later on into the pick phase. So we'll see what they end up wanting to go with. Aside from the aim mechanics, which of course WROETOSHAW is picking, and the speed mechanics map, the single speed map in this pool, the DT2, most of the rest of the pool is aim control. So let's see how this one goes. It is actually going to be Flying Tuna along with the MX 10,000 gang for No Title. And it's going to be Crescento joining Rudge, Eternum, and Bartek on this map. No Plasma for WROETOSHAW.
Looking into this map so far, under this double time 2, an early miss from Crescento and Bartek, and they're giving No Title that early lead. But still very, very early days. We mentioned this earlier. This is a very stamina rewarding map. If you've got that strong stamina consistency in you, you're going to do really well on this. So far, it's not looking too good for WROETOSHAW. 3 breaks already, Rudge being the only one holding onto an FC, and a double miss as well from both ETN and Bartek. Looking pretty rough in this start. No Title looking really dominant going into this first third here. Accuracy as well looking great for this team. Unfortunately for Crescento, struggling the most on this team, not being able to get a combo on the ground, along with that struggle to hold up to 95 accuracy. It's just Rudge holding onto this major combo. And so far, man, the only break being from Flying Tuna, it's not looking very good for WROETOSHAW. 500,000 score already in No Title's favor. And there's no other major combo here, Dio. It's literally just Rudge holding the fort against 3 domineering combos here from No Title.
Yeah, this is I don't know. I mean, this is maybe the seeding difference between these two teams showing itself. Rudge and Carter will trade. Parisia will also drop their MX 10,003. Bartek's going to trade it back. Rudge is going to drop once again. It's just Zayson holding on to the FC for no title, but the damage is more than done. It's a 900,000 score lead, and there's 0 combo on the side of ROETOSHAW. Crescento missing, and it's just Eternum with a little bit of combo, but Flying Tuna can match that, has better accuracy as well. And not gonna lie, I didn't expect ROETOSHAW to look this rough on this first pick, as a lot of their players are usually pretty comfortable on speed maps. I mean, you expect Bartek, Eternum to be a little bit more comfortable on something like this than what they're able to show right now, but props to No Title. They are performing very, very well on this. Solid scores across the board. The worst score for their team is better than the best score on ROETOSHAW. So this is just across the board dominance for No Title. And whether it's nerves or a difference in seeding and comfort on this higher star rating map pool, doesn't really matter. It is a win by almost 1.4 million team score for No Title on the first pick from ROETOSHAW. FC for Zayson. Double 700k on Carter and Parisia, and Flying Tuna still beating out Rudge with 560k. Rudge the best score for ROETOSHAW at 550k.
What a dominant start here for No Title. What a dominant start. I mean, you were expecting this this ROETOSHAW team to be a lot more dominant here, considering that their normal 3 was protected. Another one of those extremely strong raw speed mechanics maps. And this one, despite being more stamina heavy, still having a huge speed requirement. Having players around like Crescento and Bartek around, you'd expect them to do a lot better, but it just looked like an early rough start here for ROETOSHAW. And No Title not only being able to overshadow it, but overshadow them by a lot. 1.5 million score. Ginormous dominant lead here for No Title. Did not expect this level of dominance, and now their chance to get a next pick to guarantee themselves 2 points into the set, already halfway to winning set number 1. The question is, are they going to lean to this hidden 2 straight away, or are they going to save it for later?
Luckily for ROETOSHAW, there's not really any other speed maps in this pool. I mean, there's speed bursts in Nomad 3, but that's not really the main draw of that map. It's much more complex than something like the DT2, so you can't really put them together in the same basket. And of course, there are still other options for ROETOSHAW to pick in this pool, like that Hard Rock one that we talked about already. That said, there's a lot of options for No Title as well. If they want to keep leaning into double time, they can go with something like the DT1, but they are just going to go with the protected pick here in the hidden 2. I'm always wary of protect picks like this when you already have losing reference scores from the previous match on a very similar map. Obviously, the Nomad 4 is a very different map from this Hidden 2. The Nomad 4 is 50 BPM slower. It's much lower approach rate and star rating. A bit of a different focus as well with the perfect stack overlaps. But it is still low approach rate reading at its core, and that is also what makes up a lot of this map. This one is AR 8.8 and 220 BPM, 4 minutes of awkward aim consistency at that very low approach rate. So still roughly the same skill set. I'm interested to see whether the difference between Hidden and Nomad makes a difference. One other thing that maybe will help out No Title is that higher BPM. Obviously, Badu can play something like the Nomad 4 very easily. It's only 170 BPM. This one is 220, but it's not very burst focused, so I don't know how much of an impact that's actually going to have, because there's not really any long streams in this map. It is mostly just triples and quints where there are bursts in this pick. So I think this will still be contested, especially with the scores on the Nomad 4 from yesterday, but No Title clearly protecting this for a reason, confident in the low approach rate Hidden players and in the reading skill from their roster. So looking forward to seeing what they're able to do with it. And obviously they have both Worst HR player and Flying Tuna on this team, who are both very, very good reading players, very good gimmick players, Worst HR player in particular. So they're going to have the power plays to match other very good scores on the side of ROETOSHAW if we see pop-offs from Badu and Bartek, for example.
I think the big names to look out for each respective team is definitely WROETOSHAW player and Badoo. I think this is one of those maps where, despite it being quite reading heavy, it's not necessarily in the AR number that makes this too reading heavy. It's more the mapping style and the insane levels of aim control required on this map. Pretty density and pattern aim heavy as well. You're going to see a lot of really strange and scary patterns that can just make you completely fall apart, especially in those key eyes where the difficulty just ramps up massively, specifically in the second half as well. Difficulty just overall, whether in the key eye or not, ramps up massively. But going into this map, past this intro section here, we still got a while to go, granted, 4 minutes long. It's quite a long one to go through, especially if you're not comfortable with this, but Plasma is going to be the first blood to drop here for WROETOSHAW. First drop now, and so far in this intro section, we're not seeing any trades here from no title. It's Flying Tuna, Zyson, Allegrisimo, and WestHR player in for their South Korean roster, and for WROETOSHAW, Plasma, Rudge, Bartek, and Badoo. I'm not really too surprised about either of these rosters, aside from maybe Zyson. I would have maybe seen a different player fill in, but hey, can't go wrong with this. This is quite aim control-y, and Zyson does have some aim control in him. You can already see him hitting those jumps there, and going to this first key eye, we see 2 drops here from WROETOSHAW, Plasma, and Rudge, and a huge 3 misses from no title. Triple miss here. Flying Tuna being the last combo standing here, and Bartek does trade the jump as well. It's just up to Badoo and Flying Tuna duking it out, but the supporting combo from Plasma and Rudge is going to keep WROETOSHAW in that minor combo advantage, but it's not really going to change any score, Dio, because this accuracy is massively in favor of the South Koreans.
Yeah, really good start for no title right now, especially Plasma and Rudge having a lot of trouble getting good accuracy on this map right now, so not going to be able to contribute as much score as the supporting members of no title. Forgot to mention when we were talking about this map before the rosters were locked in, but Zyson actually top scored the Nomad 4 previously for no title in their last match, so not a big surprise to see him in for this.
Okay.
Even if it is a very different map with that AR 8.8 and awkward aim focus right now, WROETOSHAW player Rudge and Zyson trading out the misses. It's Plasma, Bartek, and Badoo still holding onto the combos for WROETOSHAW. Flying Tuna and Allegrisimo with the combos for no title. But there goes Tuna and Allegrisimo. Badoo still holding the full combo right now for WROETOSHAW. And this is the danger of picking low approach rate hidden aim into Badoo. Will he do it again? Can he get another ridiculous score on one of these really tricky reading maps in Corsace?
Okay. Big braces to come through. The next session that's going to come up is going to be a build-up to a massive jump section that repeats itself circling around. This is going to be the most important section here for WROETOSHAW, because as the score is going to start slowly flipping, it's all up to Badoo. This guy has always been absolutely phenomenal on these reading maps, but it's all up to him to keep WROETOSHAW going. Here we go. Big jump section to come through. Badoo looks so solid, and he hits the entire thing. Next guy to come through. Multiple breaks from so many players. It's a full reset from no title and 3 of WROETOSHAW. It is simply the Romanian superstar of Badoo. He may finally drop, but the damage seems to have already been done. 83,000, but the comfort actually here from no title is going to slowly bring it back. Is there enough time actually, Dio? It looks like it. 50,000 between them, and the hour isn't over yet. There's still a few seconds to go. Bartek drops, Plasma drops, and all of the comfort combos recovery here from no title is going to give the flip. Badoo seemed to have saved WROETOSHAW from this protect pick, to have evened it out, but it does not happen. No title with the recoveries are going to pull it through, and through the slow down ending section. Wow, you can't help but feel a bit bad for this WROETOSHAW team off the backs of Badoo. But man, the comfort just prevailed, especially towards the end where both teams just completely collapsed. And Road Title clutch it out and make that big comeback.
It's the ACK. I mean, double B ranks for Plasma and Rudge, 89 and 92% accuracy is...
Yeah.
You can't have that. You can't have that. And despite the carry performance for Badoo, it just ends up not being enough. Solid scores for Flying Tuna and worst HR player, obviously. And Bartek right up there with Allegrisimo and Zyson. But for as great of a couple of top scores as WROETOSHAW had, the bottom scores just were not enough for them to be able to take that pick, and the team-wide consistency from no title ends up giving them that point. It's a very, very close map, and that does bode well for future picks. If your protect pick is that close, it doesn't inspire much confidence going into the rest of the match, unless you're already up a break point in the case of no title, where, okay, now you just need to win your next couple of picks. You don't need to take break points. You don't need to do anything special. Just continue winning your own picks, and you've got the win. the onus is on WROETOSHAW right now to stop the momentum from no title and get a point on the board. I'm expecting the Hard Rock 1, but they might just go Nomad 3 and bring out the Protect if they want to try to abuse some of that aim control, finger control that they do have in spades on this roster. Because being down 2-0, if you give over this point, it's already set point for no title. They'd be up 3-0, able to win the entire set with their second pick. And while it's not game over, you really don't want to go down 1-0 in sets this easily without getting any other information out of your opponents right now, right? You want to be able to force some uncomfortable picks out of them. You want to be able to force more information about them if you do go down in the first set, so that the extra pick advantage you have as the loser of set 1. Loser of set 1, by the way, does get to pick the second pool that is used in the match. You want to be able to use that wisely with as much information on hand as possible to pick a pool that works for you. And they are going to go with the Protect pick, Nomad 3, try and put a point on the board and stop any momentum from no title and give them no chance at winning the set this easily.
Yeah, I think WROETOSHAW don't have a choice. They really have to go with this, because if you are to be 2-0 down and give no title potential set point, if you lose the next map, you just have to go for the guaranteed one, the most likely one to get you that victory. But we saw that on the Hidden 2 being incredibly close. I mean, it's a frightening prospect for no title, especially considering that Hidden 2 was their protection, the reading heavy stuff. You know how capable WROETOSHAW are, especially with Badu. Far and away the biggest threat in this entire lobby in terms of the Hidden. So it's a scary omen for no title in the future. But let's get into this pick right now. Nomad 3, Lollycore 280 BPM, insane speed mechanics too, along with a little extra stuff, I'm sure. A little extra spice.
I wouldn't even call this a speed mechanics map. I mean, okay, yes, there's speed in it, but really, this is like your Devious Panda Last Words style Nomad 6 with a lot of tech elements, a lot of finger control, very difficult to read, lots of really uncomfortable aim control, lots of really difficult slider patterns. And while those do kind of take a backseat to the finger control, it's still very present and makes this much more complex than just the speed would have you otherwise believe. To the point where this is one of the hardest maps in all 3 map pools that we have this weekend. To give you an idea, no title, when they played this in their previous match yesterday, got a combined 887,000 score. They won the map because their opponents could only get 511,000 score combined as a team of 4 players. The best score in the entire lobby was 250k from Karcher. This map is Demon. It is extremely, extremely difficult. So skill cap on aim control, finger control, and reading these types of extremely complex and difficult patterns at a relatively high and comfortable approach rate is incredibly important, because a single pop-off score of 400k can completely change the outcome of a map like this. With that in mind, I'm looking at Karcher to step up for no title. I'm looking at maybe Bartek or Eternum to step up for WROETOSHAW. I want to say Badu, but I don't know if he's actually in for this because of the 280 BPM bursts in this map. It's really, really hard to combo through those and keep combo afterwards. You can probably mash through them, but can you adjust your aim and regain control after the burst and then hit the other incredibly difficult patterns in this map? That's a different question. So I'm looking at Bartek and Eternum for this one to step up and show off some skill cap. I'm looking at Karcher to step up and show skill cap on this, and I'm looking at worst HR player Flying Tuna to come in for this for no title as well, because yeah, they're not speed players, but maybe they can mash through in the same way that Badu could.
You know, I've taken a second look at the map, and you're right. I mean, there is still some really high level, like a few bits of really high BPM burst and finger control, but for the most part, it's just Demon. It is a really tough map, strictly with more of its aim control and finger control requirements rather than strictly its speed. It does still have some really scary bursts, but Finger control kind of takes part in that, because straight after these really fast bursts, you get those super quick slider and jump patterns and the really strange slider doubles that really get to you, and it's a scary prospect, and it isn't really just raw speed. You're right. I may have misread the map as I was looking at it earlier, but yeah, no, you're totally right. I think there's more to this than just being at raw speed and having players like WROETOSHAW playing Flying Tuna, not really too core on the stamina, but being great in the control and the type of aim required in this map. I think it's safe to say that No Title have a good chance in this, but this is WROETOSHAW's protected pick. They know what they're doing. They've got some good scores on this. And considering No Title's highest score, as you mentioned before, being from Karcher, about 250k, if I remember you mentioning, it's a good pick to go for, and it's a good option, because you know that No Title, despite having some decent players in this, they've struggled previously in their last matchup, despite taking down Swaglords, who are notorious for being a very strong speed roster in Canada. So yeah, that's how you know this map is harder than it looks.
So by the way, the map didn't load correctly. It's over already, in fact.
What?
Yeah, oh, it's over. We did not get
this
to
one.
watch. Eternum did indeed pop off. He got 380k. It was a very good score. The rest of the roster for WROETOSHAW was under 300k collectively, and unfortunately, Eternum's pop-off was not enough. Worst HR player got 420,000 score, and Flying Tuna got 300k. And it was a difference of 87,000 score, but No Title are now up 3-0 in the first set of this match. So unfortunately, we're not going to get to see them actually play the map. The one time it gets picked this weekend, I think there's maybe like one other time this actually got picked, but I don't even think it's been streamed yet, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, the protected pick for WROETOSHAW will not work out. They will not get to put a point on the board, and it will be No Title at set point right now, looking to go up 1-0 in the best of 3 sets with 3 quick map wins in a row already. And that's a big improvement on their score from yesterday to go from 880k to now, what was it exactly? 1.23 million. Pretty big improvement of almost 400k, about 350k improved score for No Title. So good pick on paper from WROETOSHAW. Unfortunately, El Bozo, because your opponents just end up winning it anyway. They just get better.
Player, dude. Worst HR player absolutely went crazy on this deal. I'm not sure if you mentioned it previously, but the average accuracy on this map is about 93-94, with the highest accuracy being from Eternum with 382k, 95.83. Worst HR player overshadowed Eternum's combo by 300, nearly 400 combo, getting himself 400k, despite having 92.8 accuracy. That is a ginormous combo game difference, which, to be honest, kind of pushed No Title beyond the limit. You did have Flying Tuna with 314k as well, but an incredible carry score from West HR player. You are absolutely right, Dio. This was definitely a forum map, and my god, did he perform well.
I mean, I wasn't thinking it was going to be, because yesterday he got 180k on it. Like, he looked bad yesterday on this map. Let's not mince words here. He did not have a good time yesterday. But apparently he put some practice in and way outperformed what he was able to do yesterday. Stepped up. And now it's going to be the Hard Rock 2 pick for No Title. This map is Rail-AZ style streams. I'm not going to say tech streams, because it's not really a tech map, and it's not really a tech stream map in the sense that you get lots of cut streams and high accel decel spacing with really ridiculous aim control in this map. It is the precision pick. It is CS 6.5. Most of this is about accel decel with some light cut streams and light tech patterns here and there throughout this map, but mostly focusing on the flow aim with this pick.
Yeah, let's also mention here, Dio, this is the custom song for the C pool in this Knockout 1 stage. Custom song by Tag. Once again, thank you, Tag, for making the song, and thank you to Osu team, the Osu team, for helping fund our amazing custom songs. Couldn't do it without these guys. Huge help in making these a reality. We're going into the map now. Bartek, Karcher, both dropping, and along with that, you do have a break from Eternum and Allegrissimo. Rush drops down as well. So many drops here, Dio, from so many players. It's just Zyson holding on to the FC still, and not only the FC, with some fantastic accuracy of 99.6. Going past this first half of the map here, we're seeing a few drops, and here's a bit space burst section here. Space triples that could really trip you up if your aim control isn't ready for it. And we're seeing so many breaks, a full reset from WROETOSHAW. and Zyson remains untouched.
If you told me Zyson was going to be a power player for no title in this tournament when we started out, I would have been like a little skeptical. Not too much, because he's been around for a very long time. But for him to outperform Karcher, outperform worst HR player on a map like this, I think really goes to show just how ridiculous his comeback as a top tournament player has been. As I say that, he chain misses an entire stream, obviously. Can't go without the commentator curse in a match like this. But it's not going to matter. They're almost 500,000 score up. There's 0 combo on WROETOSHAW. Who cares if he chain misses the whole stream? His work is done. His job is over. He's already won the point for the team. And even then, it's not even a one-man carry performance here from Zyson. It's ridiculously good scores from everybody on this roster, to the point where, again, you can kind of compare the worst score on no title to the best score on WROETOSHAW. Allegrissimo just under 300k, and there's only 2 members of WROETOSHAW above that 300k mark. Ridiculously good performances from both Karcher and Zyson on this map. And again, the combo from Zyson, if he didn't completely fall apart in the second half of that map, would have been unmatched. Ridiculously good first set from no title. They win the first set 4-0 and are now up 1-0 in the set score in this match. What do you say to that? Because, I mean,
oh boy,
it's South Korea time, baby. It's not even Karcher. It's Zyson over everyone right now. Zyson all over him.
Do that. You can't do that to my boy. That was his turn. That was his line. But you're not wrong. I mean, Zyson, absolutely killer performance. And when you see him outperforming players like WROETOSHAW player and Karcher, players who are known to be really good on this level of aim control, those stop and go space triples, insane levels of space stuff, and aim control just generally throughout the map with the precision on top of that. It's a brutal map, and you would expect WROETOSHAW to be potentially good on this on paper, but considering this map being a lot more control heavy compared to the general aim mechanics, no title absolutely excelled over this, and that singular victory is going to give them a set win. And it's up to WROETOSHAW now to pick their next pool. And I think we know what they're going to go for, considering that they banned A. Safe to say, Pool B is going to be our next one.
Yeah, you have to assume they pick Pool B, and they do. So we're going to get Pool B started up. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to talk about. Karcher, worst HR player, Flying Tuna, all have this expectation of being hard carry, superpower tournament players, right? Whenever they come in, you expect them to perform. You expect them to top score maps for their team. And their overall skill level kind of gets overshadowed by those expectations a little bit. Karcher ending up top scoring that last map due to accuracy, and Zyson kind of falling apart near the end of it. But Zyson has quietly become one of the best tournament players in South Korea once again, sort of a return to dominance after several years where he was kind of flying under the radar a little bit and a very good supporting player, but not somebody who you expected to really pop off and have incredible performances on tons of different maps in every single map pool, right? And now he's starting to become a factor you can't ignore for this team, and maybe is the X factor that's going to give no title this edge over WROETOSHAW. Because if you're only expecting it to be Karcher, worst HR player, and Flying Tuna, you're expecting wrong from this roster, even with Parisia and Allegrissimo as well, both being really, really good supporting players for this squad. Hard Rock 1 protected for no title,
Bold
and Nomad
one.
3 protected for WROETOSHAW is very interesting in Pool B. A, because Hard Rock 1 is aim consistency. It's light tech aim consistency, but aim consistency nonetheless. And raw speed protected for WROETOSHAW in this Nomad 3. This is just a speed map. Very different to the Nomad 3 from the previous pool where you have all the aim control, finger control, tech elements. This one is no anything besides just 250 BPM bursts and streams. So interesting choice of protect for WROETOSHAW after the DT2 loss on the previous pool. And now a DT1 ban for no title. This is the DT1 of all DT1s in this tournament, so not super surprised there. There's a lot of very good DT aim players on the side of WROETOSHAW.
Yeah, I think just I think normal 3 protectors is still a valid protect to go for. I'm more surprised about the Hard Rock 1 Dio. This is a ballsy one because this is very much a WROETOSHAW map. I don't know about you, but this is one of those super maps that I would consider this team to be really strong on. Of course, Double Time 1 is going to be banned for no title, which doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, the next closest thing to their best map is this DT1, and WROETOSHAW bouncing back with the Hard Rock 2. I'm totally understandable about. This is despite being slightly lower CS precision, it's got lots of really strange stop and go patterns, a little bit on the ulti side as well, similar actually to the Hard Rock 2 in Pool C, a little bit different granted, but still has a similar skill set requirement. So having this Hard Rock 2 banned definitely means that WROETOSHAW are learning a little bit from what happened in the previous set, and they're going to adapt to that and go for that Hard Rock 2 ban. But I'm still a little surprised about this Hard Rock 1 Protector. Don't you think this is a little bit of a bold one? WROETOSHAW played this and got a decent score with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's mostly because this map is Hard Rock. Like, I think the Nomad one, for example, wouldn't be a good protect for no title because there's a lot of very good Nomad aim players on the side of WROETOSHAW. But we were talking about this before the match. A lot of the players on WROETOSHAW don't really prefer Hard Rock when they are playing aim. A lot of the players on no title are actually very good Hard Rock players, to the extent that when in a tournament pool, they tend to prefer Hard Rock 1 over Nomad 1, a la Karcher, for example. So I'm thinking this is maybe just mod preference and something that they're very strong on, especially because it's not pure aim. It is light tech aim, kind of early Skystar RLC style tech aim for the Hard Rock 1. So not super surprising to see that protected, I don't think. It's weird on paper, I agree. But if you think about the teams for a few minutes, I think it starts to make sense with the mod preferences and the kind of skill set preferences for no title. By the way, the protect pick is the first pick for WROETOSHAW. We already talked about this team having a very good speed roster. Eternum, Crescento, Bartek, and Rudge going to be the 4-man roster for WROETOSHAW. Karcher, Zason, Parisia, and Flying Tuna going to be the 4-player roster for no title. Flying Tuna, not necessarily a speed player, but a mechanics player nonetheless. Still a very good mechanics player. Interesting to see him in for 250 BPM speed, though.
Yeah, I mean, despite this, this is quite different to our last 2 speed heavy maps we saw in pool number C. This one being a lot more fast-paced and a lot more aggressive in its speed. So Flying Tuna is not only well known to be quite well-rounded, but has had a history of being really strong on these mechanics. This one specifically is really brutal, though. Very, very speed-heavy, lots of more scary bursts, and a little bit of a spicy addition of tech in there as well. Nothing too major, similar to the Hard Rock 1 reminiscence here, where it's mostly reliant on that aim and speed, but there are a few tech elements here that you've just seen in that big jump section. Major drops from everybody here, but no title overall with this big recovery, along with Karcher being the big FC for no title for the South Korean roster. They're going to give themselves a huge lead past this first half. And let me also add, Dio, this is another custom song for Corsace Open 2023, song by Seesaw. Once again, thank you very much for making this banger song. Thank you, those team, for funding it.
Well, the protect pick has not worked yet again for WROETOSHAW. Flying Tuna on a good combo, 96, 97 accuracy. Sure, it doesn't really matter. There's 96 and then 97 act for most players in the lobby right now. Karcher will miss on a random jump during the slower section. But again, I don't think it matters. There's not a huge combo on the side of WROETOSHAW. Rudge is going to reset along with Zazen and Karcher there on the top row for no title. Crescento's going to reset. It's Bartek and Eternum versus Flying Tuna and Parisia. There goes Eternum, and now it's just no one on WROETOSHAW with any combo. Tuna will finally miss, but Parisia is there with combo. You have Karcher and Zason on the top row to support, and with no map left, effectively, this is already a point in the bag for no title. A break point in the bag, and the protected pick gone for WROETOSHAW, all in one fell swoop. No title looking untouchable in this match so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, wow. And we did say that this one was a lot more sided for WROETOSHAW, a lot better odds of potentially getting a good score on this, but oh boy, did no title prove us wrong. Flying Tuna and Karcher in particular with some fantastic combos overall. Unfortunately for WROETOSHAW, they couldn't scratch over the 500 combo mark and struggled to get the accuracy needed to maybe fight back. And with a very dominant 500,000 lead, no title, not only with a brilliant breakpoint, but another pick opportunity to get themselves halfway to their next second set victory and advancing themselves into the next weekend into our top 4, Dio.
And we were a little skeptical about Tuna coming in for that map. He top scores the lobby with 540k. Karcher and Zason actually the two bottom scorers for no title on that one. Parisia also a very good speed player, by the way. Parisia last year on South Korea's OWC team was there for DT mechanics in particular, showing it off here once again. And yet again, it's a full team wipe. The worst score from Zazen on the side of no title is still better than the best score from WROETOSHAW coming from Eternum. So 0 chance of any win on that map for WROETOSHAW. And when you lose your Protect pick as your first pick in the second set after going down 4-0, now 5-0, gotta deal a bit of a blow to your confidence, and right into the Nomad 2 for no title we go. 180 BPM tech streams. This is not your typical Nomad 2. This is all focused on really tricky stream spacing, changes in spacing, overlapping streams, cut streams, XL, decel streams, tech patterns in this map as well. It's 180 BPM tech streams. If you've played stuff like Pretty Maps, imagine that on steroids, or like By Far X Pretty collabs, those types of maps. That's effectively what you're getting here, but turned up a notch for 2023. And no title with a lot of very good aim control players, with a lot of players who are extremely good at this type of tech stream stuff, like worst HR player and Flying Tuna, for example. Kind of expect those two to come in and pop off on something like this. And there are players on WROETOSHAW who can play this, but notably, the question of Badu stamina is always there when it's an aim control map that is relatively stamina focused. I don't know his stamina cap anymore, honestly. In times past, I would have said, yeah, 180 BPM is for a stream map high, but also the note chains in this are not super long, so I think he can probably play this and do pretty well with it. I think you're going to get Eternum Bartek, and I think you're probably going to get Crescento as the 4th for WROETOSHAW. We'll see who actually comes in for it, though.
Yeah, just out on top of this, on top of you mentioned all about this map, 185 BPM, it's 4 minutes long stream aim control, along with that tech mentioned as well.
I think you're looking at the wrong map
one.
preview, sir, because this is 2 minutes and 23 seconds and 180 BPM, not 185.
Wait, hold on, just to make sure.
I think you may have been on Pool C.
I am! No,
Understandable mistake.
No, I'm sorry.
Wrong one, man. Wrong one.
I am indeed. Okay, I take this back. This is very tech streamy. Much more aim control required in here, as you already mentioned. Kind of a trade-off of a lower BPM for previously, but it's still super tech stream and super aim control heavy. You can already see this being a puppet pit for no title now that I've been horrifically corrected. Thank you, dear. Oh god, that's embarrassing. Anyway, moving on.
There's 3 pools.
Yeah, moving on to the match here. We already see a break from Eternum, Bartek, and Crescento just being plasma holding on here this first third. But for no title, WROETOSHAW playing Flying Tuna hold on. Zyson and Karcher both drop earlier on, but they're still doing a decent recovery here. A double miss from WROETOSHAW, only gonna hit their wounds even harder. No title gaining their lead by about 200,000 now, going past this first third. We're going to a little bit of a slow build up now, but that aim control is still hitting hard. You can already see them. Very strange kind of I don't really know how to describe it, kind of like doubles into streams. And we're going into another big difficult to ramp up section with Karcher and Zyson both dropping once again. WROETOSHAW and Flying Tuna continue to hold on this massive combo. Flying Tuna does drop, but it's WROETOSHAW player to maintain the FC. Whereas on the side of WROETOSHAW, everybody's struggling here. Nobody can get a big combo off of the starting point. These guys are struggling to get a map. They just can't get the combo on the board. And WROETOSHAW player is just walking all over it like it's a walk in the park. And the recoveries from no title look so dominant as well. Despite WROETOSHAW player dropping, going into this final quarter section is looking all but over for WROETOSHAW on this map.
I mean, you got a quarter of the map left in a 500k score lead. The whole team score for WROETOSHAW is only a million team score right now. Karcher and Zason, MX 10,000, 1 and 2, are holding on to near 500 combo each as well. It's only Bartek with any kind of combo for WROETOSHAW. Plasma's not too far behind him in score, but it is paltry in comparison to a full team 400k plus coming out of No Title right now. Yet again, a map where the worst score on No Title is still better than the best score on WROETOSHAW. It feels like I'm saying that way too often in this match, but you don't see that all that often in tournaments, especially 4v4, that every single player on a team is better than all 4 players on the other team. It's unreal to see it this often in a 4v4. And No Title called them untouchable after set 1 and the first pick in this set, and they are continuing that type of dominance. 770k score lead off the back of mainly worst HR player and Karcher actually above 500k on that map, quietly outpacing Flying Tuna near the end of the pick. But wow, I mean, just sheer dominance. 6-0 in map score so far for No Title. Not quite at 3 wins this set yet, though we expect them to get there pretty soon, I think. They are up, however, 1-0 in the set score and 2-0 in the second set here. Reminder, this is an elimination match. WROETOSHAW is fighting for their tournament life right now, and they are unfortunately not able to put up that much of a fight at the moment. You have to expect them to go into the Nomad 1 here, even if No Title is a very good aim team, which they are. To not have picked any aim consistency in this match so far, I think is very weird considering how much they abused it yesterday against Starbound. They're gonna go for the Hidden 2 instead, which honestly seems fine. They had a really good time on this yesterday versus Starbound. It's not quite as complex as the previous Hidden 2, where we saw high levels of discomfort for 2 out of 4 members playing the map for WROETOSHAW. I think you can expect those comfort levels to go up, and you can expect Badu to replicate the kind of score he got on this yesterday, which was near 900k by the time the map was all over. So once again, looking to Badu to put on the carry pants. That said, a bit heavier this time around, as there is worst HR player Flying Tuna to contend with on the other side. Mainly worst HR player I'm looking at for low approach rate hidden, though.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Badu on this roster, any reading pick is very possible to overtake from, and this Hidden 2, Skyflame low AR, CS 4.5 AR 8. It's quite dense. It's quite dense jump and stream maps. They're pretty. I believe this is the Hatsune Miku one. If I remember correctly, but I could be wrong on that because I don't have the song in my notes here. But regardless, the density and the jump and streams just generally overall make this really hard, despite it being quite approachable. It's not really too awkward in its aim. It is more on its comfortable side. It really is that low AR and hidden slapped on top of it that makes this really difficult and makes this extremely dense, especially towards the ending where the difficulty ramps up massively. But despite No Title having a very competent team on the reading, Badu is just Badu, and that's the man that you want to look out for here, especially now that this is a bit more on the comfortable side. It's not as awkward as the previous Hidden 2 we saw in the previous map. You know, the last Hidden 2 was insanely difficult in aim control. This one, a lot more comfortable and approachable, and this is why it makes Plasma and Bartek a lot more threatening compared to the previous matchup where it was purely just Badu. But this is where we could potentially see a pick from WROETOSHAW. I was thinking that Nomad 1 could be another valid option here, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Going into this first TI here, Flying Tuna, first to drop. Zyson joins him, and we're already seeing 2 breaks from both teams. Eternum and Bartek do join Zyson and Flying Tuna on those drops. West HR player is going to be the one to break the even here. And Allegrisimo is the last one standing. Plasma and Badu still holding on to this first KI. There's still quite a bit of time to go. 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Not too long, but we're still in early days. Only about a third of the way through. And a big jump sections here where you could see a few misreads at awkward sections. But no, it doesn't seem like it. Allegrisimo, though, he's going to drop. And WROETOSHAW now have a huge advantage here.
For the first time this match, it feels like a big advantage for WROETOSHAW with the 2 FCs intact. One supporting combo for Bartek, about matching either Zyson or Flying Tuna with their supporting combos as well. And once again, it is 2-0 right now, not 3-0. Bartek and Zyson will trade the combos. As long as Badu and Plasma hold these combos, there's not really anything that No Title can do to take this break point. And you have to root for the side of WROETOSHAW if you're rooting for a close match right now, as it has been the no title show this entire time. Badu will drop with a chain miss on the stream there going into the bridge in the song. Most difficult section of the map, 2 big combos on Worst HR player and Flying Tuna. It's all on Plasma right now. He's the only one still holding the big combo for WROETOSHAW, and this lead is not big enough that they can be secure in their win right now. Can they continue to hold?
This is so uncertain. You've got the recoveries from no title. Worst HR player and Tuna have that 600 combo and climbing. It's all up to Plasma to try and suppress this for as long as he can, because the other combos from WROETOSHAW are not going to be enough. For doing title drop on that stream, it's all up to Plasma, but I don't think WROETOSHAW have got enough time. No title just overall throughout this consistency are going to overtake slowly but surely. Allegrisimo drops, but that's not the combo you want from WROETOSHAW. It's still Plasma, but down he goes, and that's 100% sealed it now, despite the valiant effort from the British superstar. Flying Tuna may drop, but Worst HR player stands strong, holds strong, and keeps no title in this map. Fantastic stuff. General consistency and general supporting combo from this South Korean roster are going to carry them ahead. Unfortunately for WROETOSHAW, Badu and Plasma cannot do enough. And that's going to be match point, set point, match point here for no title with their next pick coming up. It's so dire here for WROETOSHAW.
Yeah, 690k for Flying Tuna, 790k for Worst HR player. The bottom scores are roughly the same. They're both 470k for Zason and Allegrisimo, 470k for Bartek, 400k for Crescento, but Badu not able to pop off like he was yesterday. Plasma took his place, but 890k was not enough there. And even if he full comboed, I don't think it would have been enough. You would have needed another 130k or so, and with the accuracy that he had, it would have been close, but it may still not have been enough with only 99 accuracy. I'm not sure if he gets to that 1.03 million mark. It would have been really close, but not meant to be. The one miss comes out for Plasma, and that seals it up. And now you're going just more aim control for no title, no mod 4 here. This, you have to put Badu in for this if you are WROETOSHAW. Alone by Slater. This is 174 BPM and very similar in style to what we saw on No Mod 2, but if the spacing was bumped up so that it was almost half a star rating higher than the No Mod 2. This is without a doubt the harder map between the two of them, and you already saw the kind of gap that existed on No Mod 2. That said, the lower BPM for this, I think, is good for WROETOSHAW. Badu played this yesterday and got 500k on it, gapping the next best score by almost 200,000 points. So he had a really good performance on this. He can play this very well. The question is, how does the rest of the team look? Because besides a tournament, 300k precisely, both Rudge and Bartek were down near 260k. So WROETOSHAW have to find some kind of pop-off on this, because Flying Tuna and Worst HR player are going to put up really good scores on this map. We haven't seen them play this yet, but it's gonna be good scores for the side of no title. A lot of this, I think, comes down to how well Badu can carry and how good the supporting scores can be for WROETOSHAW.
That really is the question here with this WROETOSHAW team. How hard can you push Badu to his limits here to try and keep your team in the game in this tournament as well? If we look at their previous score, Dio, against Starbound, it was quite literally all Badu. I mean, the highest combo outside of Badu was 400 by Nope KJK. Badu outshining that massively by 911's combo. It really is Badu to be the man to look out for here for this WROETOSHAW team. But on the side of no title, despite us not seeing them play this map yet, we know how insanely good they are on this aim control. A couple early breaks, but way too early to really dictate anything so far. See a break from Bartek, Worst HR player, and Zyson. 2 FCs versus 2 now as Crescento drops. But again, we already mentioned this here. Very, very early days. There's still plenty of time to come back here. And considering no title on paper have a much better lineup, You really just got to have to hope that Badoo can really outshine here going into this first Ki. Very important section here for WROETOSHAW. As long as at least 2 combos can hold. Triple miss for no title. It's all up to WSHR players to try and get a combo. Holding on to try and contest WROETOSHAW. Bartek drops. Crescento Plasma drops. So many drops here. It's just Badoo, but down he goes. That's the ultimate combo that you were praying for. If you're a WROETOSHAW fan, gone. And despite it all being even, the overall comfort for no title, along with that accuracy as well, is going to keep them in the lead. Plasma with 90%, along with Crescento on 93, just edging towards 94, is not what you want when the lowest accuracy for no title is from Zyson on 95 flat.
And almost 99 from Karcher right now. 98.65% for Karcher. He was up at 99 or 98.9 before a couple breaks came through during that verse. It's the combo gone for Badoo once again. Crescento, Plasma to follow. Bartek broke right before that, and it's the 4-way combo intact in the middle of this Ki time for no title. Flying Tuna and Zazim will break. Worst HR player and Karcher to hold for no title to extend this score lead above 300,000 now in the favor of no title. And the 500k for Badoo is not happening this time around. The kind of carry performance he was able to put up yesterday is not manifesting itself here against no title. The aura of domination from South Korea coming in hot. The Conqueror's hockey making Badoo tremble in his boots right now as Karcher and worst HR player, man, still holding the combos, both now above 400,000 score. Karcher above 99 AC on this map is just absurd.
Final diff spike here, Dio. Fantastic levels of performance here from no title. West HR player and Karcher still looking great. 99% on Karcher, as I mentioned before. Completely absurd accuracy for a map like this. And it seems all but over for WROETOSHAW. They've made an effort, they tried, but they could not deal with the unstoppable force that is South Korea. No title, take the set, and take the match.
Even if Badoo replicates his score from yesterday, it just doesn't matter. Karcher outperforms it. Worst HR player is 100,000 score up on Badoo's score from yesterday. And no title, 8-0 map score, 2-0 set score, double clean sweep on the weekend. 0 contest from either opponent, advance into the semifinals in the Corsace Open, and knock WROETOSHAW out of the tournament. I have to say, WROETOSHAW looked better yesterday. They had a lot of better scores yesterday than on the maps they played today. Unfortunately, one bad day is all it takes. No title easily take advantage and just wipe the floor with them 8-0. And no title now guaranteed top 4 in the Corsace Open now. Make it out of the single elimination bracket and have a chance at winning the tournament next weekend in Knockout Stage 2. Very, very well done from no title. And commiserations to WROETOSHAW. Very good run through the tournament, finishing top 8, but unable to advance as no title, just too strong.